Here we go.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Oh, watch out here in front of us.
What kind of boat do you know that operates on tracks, Virk?
Welcome to Jobbed Out, the wrestling editorial that reminds you not to be surprised when you lose your dream job at the company whose head was famous for saying,
"You're fired."
You'd think the WWE going back on the road would mean more jobs, not less, but not long after its annual spring cleaning and less than a week after NXT's own firing spree, WWE started cutting down on office staff like a company run by George Bluth.
Oh, when do we get to see our new fancy offices? As soon as you get your new fancy job, you're all fired.
Whole departments were phased down and quite a few vice presidents were even let go, but these are names that you don't know, so let's talk about one that you might. Adnan Virk, the baseball announcer whose history stretches from ESPN to that one streaming site that wants us to believe it's pronounced DAZN. Virk started with the WWE only 6 weeks ago, replacing Tom Phillips at the head of the table, so to speak, as lead announcer on Raw. Things had not particularly gone smoothly, as his inexperience calling pro wrestling came to light really quick. Getting moves wrong, which happens, confusing trains with boats.
Clear the tracks.
Here we go.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Oh, watch out here in front of us.
What kind of boat do you know that operates on tracks, Virk?
Which, okay, that's a bit more worrisome. Like, Mike Adamley worrisome, but I digress. It was announced on May 25th, only 6 weeks after his debut, that Adnan Virk was no longer a member of the WWE team. On his way out, Virk cited on Twitter that WWE's upcoming tour schedule conflicting with his existing job was the primary reason. And that makes sense. When he was hired by the WWE, it was Thunderdome all the way, baby. He just needed to be in Tampa on Mondays and there'd be no issues. But if he's going town to town, Jacksonville this week, Raleigh next week, Boston after that, it's not necessarily going to be easy for him to work double duty now that baseball's starting to ramp up. Makes sense to cut these ties early, not like the fans are gonna miss him, which really wasn't fair on Adnan. I mean, this guy was set up to fail. You know how the WWE brought Joey Styles in 2 decades ago? They had him train in Stamford watching tapes, coached by Jim Ross. Then they had Ross in his ear for the first few weeks calling moves while he got accustomed to the current roster and story. Most commentary don't tend to be thrown to the wolves on Monday Night Raw on day one. Tom Phillips and Vic Joseph, they both started on main event. Michael Cole, Coach, Renee Young, they all did backstage interviews first. Even Mauro Ranallo had a month to get acclimated before they put him on a then still taped SmackDown. And all of these guys have more experience with the wrestling world than Virk did. Adnan Virk got a raw deal, pardon the pun, and it's a damn shame. So we won't know quite who's gonna be head of Raw during next week's show. If Raw and SmackDown plan to tour the same cities at the same time, we could see the return of Michael Cole. Otherwise, I'm all for another Tom Phillips tenure, who had been relegated to 205 Live, the place where Adnan Virk probably should have started instead. Now, I can't say I'm gonna miss this guy on commentary, cause I just can't be bothered to watch 3 hours of Raw on Mondays, no matter who's doing the talking. But I do want to know, what do you think of this change? Are you glad to see Adnan Virk gone, or was he starting to grow on you? Do you think he deserved better, or should the WWE have put somebody with more of a wrestling background in his place? Let me know what you think in the comments, and be sure to subscribe for more, because I want you to be a part of this conversation too. For now though, I better get my shoulders off the mat, so thank you for tuning in to Jobbed Out. I'll catch you next time.